Today's video is for improving your vocabulary. We shall talk about antonyms. Antonyms are very important. They are words which are opposite in meaning to each other. When a small child learns the language, that is the mother tongue, the child always learns these opposite words, because that is the way to develop your vocabulary. So you have a word like good, and the antonym is bad. So the child learns that this is good, this is bad. Instead of saying not good, we use the word bad. Or this is fast and this is slow. So fast, we don't say not fast, or slow, we don't say not slow. Then we use another word which is so expressive. When we learn a language, like all of us are learning English here in these videos, we need to learn the antonyms so that in any situation we can use the correct form of the word. Very often antonyms are used by writers also because they express the meaning so well. A great Russian author, Leo Tolstoy, I'll tell you some of his stories some other day, uses the title of a book, War and Peace. Now you see the antonym. War is the antonym of peace. Peace is the antonym of war. So the title of the book itself is War and Peace. How important antonyms are, you can easily understand by looking at this title. Then we have the famous American author Mark Twain, who writes a book, The Prince and the Pauper. Prince and then antonym pauper. So you can see how useful antonyms are because authors are using it all the time. There are many, many more books which use antonyms as titles. You can see, you can Google search and find all of them. Then we have a whole sentence by the famous British author Charles Dickens, where at the beginning, the first line of his famous novel, A Tale of Two Cities, he writes, "It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Best and worst, opposite of each other. B-E-S-T and W-O-R-S-T. These are, he uses this sentence to describe what is going to happen in the entire novel. Some positive, some negative. So he writes such a beautiful sentence, very often quoted. It is the best of times and it is the worst of times. In this way, if all of us who are learning a language learn the antonyms, our English will become better. While speaking the language, you will be able to use words accurately. For your vocabulary to become better, antonyms are very useful. So don't forget to use antonyms. Don't forget to learn them. Try to understand how antonyms enhance your language. Even in writing, you might want to use antonyms. When you are talking to people in your conversations, you might very often require to use antonyms. You use the word, you use the antonym, or somebody else uses the word and you use the antonym. In this way, we can constantly practice using antonyms. I will only give you a few examples today. Not many, but a few of them. These are divided into two parts, and you will be able to see the sentences where the antonyms are used. Even if you don't understand the sentence or you don't understand the word, it doesn't really matter initially, because if you know the meaning of the antonym, you will guess the meaning of the word. So that way also antonyms are very useful, that they enhance our vocabulary by making the difficult word easy. A difficult word whose antonym you know becomes easy for you to understand, even if in first reading you don't understand it. Antonyms are of two types. One is, like I told you, good, bad, or fast and slow. The word is totally different. The other is where the word is used with a prefix. A prefix is some addition in front of the word. So we will divide it into two units. First, we will do some antonyms where the word is different from its antonym. Let us start this exercise first. This is a broad road. That is a narrow lane. The word broad is the antonym of the word narrow. There is a deep well near the broad road. There is a shallow pond near the narrow lane. Deep is the antonym for shallow. A tall tree grows next to the deep well. Short bushes grow around the shallow pond. Tall is the antonym of short. Rome has many ancient monuments. There are many modern buildings in Dubai. Ancient and modern are antonyms of each other. The soldiers got medals for bravery. He accused his enemy of cowardice. Bravery and cowardice are antonyms of each other. There was chaos in the market. The police came to bring order there. Chaos and order are antonyms of each other. Have you heard the story of the ugly duckling? The story tells us how it became a beautiful swan. Ugly and beautiful are antonyms of each other. Today it is bright and sunny, but yesterday it was dark and cloudy. Bright and dark are antonyms of each other. Sunny and cloudy are antonyms of each other. They bought a house in the new complex. They sold the house in the old locality. Bought and sold are antonyms of each other. New and old are antonyms of each other. I like the white dress in the big showroom. My friend bought a black dress from the small shop. White is the antonym of black. Big and small are antonyms of each other. Ice is cold and hard. Boiled potatoes are hot and soft. Cold and hot are antonyms of each other. Hard and soft are antonyms of each other. The later problem is difficult. The earlier one was easy. Later and earlier are antonyms of each other. Difficult and easy are antonyms of each other. Now you came across many antonyms. The sentences were there and the words which were the antonym of each other were also listed separately. Now look at the meaning. Suppose you didn't understand the meaning of any of them, then you have to obviously look at your dictionary. For instance, you have a word like cowardice, bravery and cowardice. Bravery is a person who has a lot of courage, who shows courage, and lack of that courage is cowardice. A person who gets easily frightened, a person who's always afraid of everything. That is cowardice. Then you have broad for side, when side to side the distance is very huge, then we call it broad. When side to side the distance is very less, we call it narrow. Similarly, we have deep, going down the surface. The surface is there and much, much lower than the surface, we call it deep. Antonym is shallow. SHALLOW, as you saw on the slide. And that is closer to the surface, not so deep. So, not deep is shallow, not shallow is deep. That is how antonyms are used. In all the examples you saw just now, the word and the antonym were two different words. There was no similarity between them, only in the meaning they were opposite in meaning. Now we have another list, and in that list what you will find is that we have the addition of some prefixes. There are 7 varieties of prefixes which I'm showing you today in 7 different slides. We have IN. If IN is added in front of a certain word, it becomes its antonym, or IL. If IL is added, then again it becomes the antonym. Or UN. UN is added, it becomes an antonym. Then IM, if it's added, then it becomes an antonym. Then you have dis, DIS. If you add dis as the prefix at the beginning of the word, it becomes the antonym. Then you have non, NON. Again, it becomes the antonym of the word if you add non. And then you have IR. If you add IR in front of certain words, they become the antonym. Now, where to use these prefixes and how to form antonyms, that I'm going to show you in a few slides. But please remember that you need to make a long list of these. Today I have given you a few examples of antonyms. I could not give you many examples because the video is of a short duration. But when you look at these examples, you can make a list of your own. Look at the world around and try to find antonyms for the words which you know, words which you already know. Suppose you say walk, antonym is run. So walk is to go slowly, run is to go fast. Just now I told you fast and slow. How small children learn antonyms for better language. So when you use these prefixes, you find that the word itself, without any change, becomes its own antonym just by the addition of these prefixes. These are prefixes which are called antonym making prefixes. They are used only to make antonyms of words. These prefixes are not used in other places. Suppose I said I am. So you say immediate. Now immediate is not an antonym. Please understand. I am is a part of the spelling of immediate. Like that, you should not get confused. If after removing the prefix you get a complete meaningful word, only then you should consider it to be a prefix which is used for making antonyms. Let us now see a few of these antonyms using the 7 types of prefixes which I have listed here. There is sufficient food in the storehouse, but rains were insufficient this year. The antonym of sufficient is insufficient. All the sentences you have written are correct. Some of his sentences are incorrect. Incorrect is the antonym of correct. The advocate agreed to give legal advice. Breaking the law is illegal. Legal and illegal are antonyms of each other. Many of these people were illiterate. The adult education program has made them literate. Literate and illiterate are antonyms of each other. She was happy to see her friend. She was unhappy when her friend left. Unhappy is the antonym of happy. Those who attended this excellent conference are fortunate. Those who missed it are very unfortunate. Unfortunate is the antonym of fortunate. The project looked impossible to him. His friends helped him and made it possible. Impossible is the antonym of possible. The old lady was very mature. The young boy was still immature. Immature is the antonym of mature. Today, the moon appeared in the sky before sunset. The sun disappeared behind the clouds. Disappear is the antonym of appear. Teachers like obedient students. Teachers dislike disobedient students. Dislike is the antonym of like. Disobedient is the antonym of obedient. This ticket is non-refundable. If you need to cancel your ticket later, you should book a refundable one. Non-refundable is the antonym of refundable. Paper is biodegradable. Plastic is non-biodegradable. Biodegradable and non-biodegradable are antonyms of each other. Your decision to join the football team is reversible. Passage of time is irreversible. Irreversible is the antonym of reversible. My father is a responsible man. She was irresponsible when young. Irresponsible is the antonym of responsible. After watching these 2 sets of antonyms, I'm sure you are now very clear as to what is an antonym and how you can use it. Start using them in sentences of your own as far as possible. If you have problems of meaning, like in the first list, there was a word chaos, chaos, pronunciation chaos, and meaning confusion. So you use the word chaos when you talk about confusion. Then here you had word like reversible, irreversible. Reversible is that which can be changed. Irreversible is that which cannot be changed. The sentence was that time is irreversible. You cannot go back in time. You cannot say, I want to live yesterday or I want to live last year. That's not possible. It goes in one direction. Irreversible. Those of you who study chemistry, you do an experiment. Then the change which comes in your test tube, it cannot go back to the original which was there. We say it's an irreversible change. Whereas reversible is what you can change. Suppose you make a decision today. Tomorrow you can say, I don't want to do this. Then you can change your decision. That is reversible. Then you had another word, and that is illegal. Illegal is when you do not follow the rules and regulations which are laid down by society or by law, which is punishable. If you do something illegal, then you can get punishment. You can be put in prison, or a fine may be imposed on you. So illegal. Then you have also the word biodegradable. I told you antonym is non-biodegradable. Biodegradable already is a compound word. Bio is products of life, and degradable is that which can be broken down into smaller pieces. That is what happens to anything which is organic. You can break it up. For instance, anything which is grown on plants or animals, etc., these can be recycled. We say recycle. That is biodegradable. You can change it. Non-biodegradable means it doesn't break into smaller pieces. It remains as it is. The example which was given to you in the sentence is plastic. Why the world is getting choked today, why our oceans and seas are getting choked today, is because of plastic. The plastic waste which we generate is huge, and it is polluting the whole world. So, because it is non-biodegradable, things which are biodegradable, they go and merge into nature again. They don't remain. But other things, they don't break down into elements, and therefore they remain. So when you have words like this, you can enhance your vocabulary. Somebody was saying, I want advanced vocabulary. I want mid-level vocabulary. So you can get, from basic vocabulary to advanced vocabulary, you can have through antonyms. Then we have a word like sufficient, insufficient. Sufficient means enough, whatever, as much as you require. Insufficient is less than what you require. So we often use it for money. We often use it for resources. That is very, very commonly used. Somebody wanted to read the newspaper. These words you will find in the newspaper almost every day. You have a word sustainable. I did not use it in the example. Then you say non-sustainable. I already gave you the prefix in the list of 7 prefixes. So sustainable, non-sustainable. In this way, you can go on. When you read, search for all the words for which you already know the antonym, or you can find the antonym. The best way to do it is to go into the thesaurus. Thesaurus is not a dictionary. Thesaurus is like a dictionary, but it gives you only synonyms and antonyms. It doesn't give you meanings as a dictionary does. It doesn't give you which part of speech or whatever, how many forms the word is used. All those details it doesn't give. So get into the habit of referring to the thesaurus. We have online thesaurus also. You can look at that, or you can go to a thesaurus in a book form, that is hard copy. When you do all this, your vocabulary improves. Your antonym is a strength to improve your vocabulary. That is why this video is so important. Thanks for watching and all the best.